I think one of the biggest barriers to energy efficiency for building owners has really been the lack of information and understanding of how much energy their building is actually using. So, a building owner might get a bill for their central systems, but they don't really have the whole picture of how their entire building with all their tenants is using energy. And that lack of information has been a barrier in terms of really understanding the full picture and what they can achieve through energy efficiency. I think there's also been a lack of transparency in terms of energy data on the market side. So while the building owner is having trouble getting access to this information, the general public doesn't know how much energy our buildings are using either. Commonly, a lot of people have a good understanding of the efficiency of a car. They understand the miles per gallon. So if it's a higher miles per gallon, it's a more efficient car. But when it comes to buildings, which are actually much bigger energy users than cars, there is no miles per gallon that people readily understand about their buildings. But there is that metric, and it can be calculated as the energy use per square foot. And it's through a process of benchmarking where building owners can start to measure their building's energy use. And if that information is made publicly available, people will start to gain an understanding and appreciation of how much energy our buildings are using. There's a lot of fancy new technologies that can improve a building's efficiency, but I would say one of the first things a building owner should target is actually one of the no-cost, low-cost measures just about addressing the operations and maintenance of a building. Because a lot of times building systems go left untouched once they're installed. So they are due for repair. Back to the car analogy, you have to go bring your car in for an annual inspection to make sure it's running properly. The same thing should be happening to your building, whether it's on an annual basis or an ongoing basis. You should always be making sure your systems are properly tuned. So I think one of the real first steps in terms of energy efficiency is improving the operations of your building. And that can be done through ongoing commissioning or retro commissioning that really gets to the everyday use of your building systems. The city is doing two things, both on the public side and the private side, where the Department of General Services is looking at the city's own portfolio of buildings, because we do own a lot of buildings. We've got fire departments, libraries, office buildings, and we have our own responsibility to improve the energy and water efficiency of those buildings. So we've been going through a process over the last few months of benchmarking our buildings back to that data piece to really understand how these buildings are using energy and water. And we're going to use that information to then target the biggest users and conduct energy audits and do upgrades where it makes the most sense. And it's cost effective, and it'll not only save the city energy, but it'll save money in terms of paying for those utilities. And then on the private side, we're doing the same thing. We're looking at the different programs the Department of Water and Power is offering, how we could ramp those up and offer more incentive programs for building owners to do the same thing. We're also trying to remove barriers that have prevented building owners from doing efficiency in the first place. So in terms of data access, we're working at the state level to help resolve some of the complications around getting easier access to energy information and making it easier for building owners. We're looking into standardizing the audit and retro commissioning process so it helps the industry move forward and lower cost, so it's easier for building owners to take these opportunities. Our role as the city is a couple of different things, but one of the main things that we see us doing is helping to remove those barriers to make it easier for building owners.